Robert Littal, BSO Entertainment. Thank you so much for taking out the time. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you so much. And I like the backdrop.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
The first question that I have for you, when you took on the project, how important was it to make sure that all of the cultures that were kind of involved in this type of movie was really authentic, that the audience would be able to kind of understand where Giannis, his brother, his mom, his dad, where they all came from, and how authentic that journey was to get to the NBA?
Oh, thank you so much for that question. A great question, because it was truly important from the point of view of, firstly, Giannis as an executive producer and Giannis and his family allowing us the opportunity to tell the story. And, you know, producer Bernie Goldman, Giannis's agent, Yorgos, and Giannis, they pitched the story to Disney, right? So the story they pitched was a family story. And so firstly, that need to make sure that we represent exactly what, you know what I mean? Like we make sure that when the family's watching the film, it says something. When they watch it, they go, yeah, we remember that. Oh, that triggers this memory, and so on. So that was really important. And then thinking about a Nigerian family in Greece, what are the things when you move from one place to another, what are the things you sort of hold on to? You hold on to food, music, as you walk the streets, you know. So Giannis, there was an interview he did where he said, I might have grown up in Greece, but I grew up in a Nigerian household because my parents were Nigerian. And so those things, those clues and those beautiful textures were really important to me, because it allowed the story, which is universal, to have a certain specificity, but that specificity becomes universal because we all can relate to that idea of moving from one place to another and feeling at home, you know?
Yeah, and you know, I've had the opportunity to speak to Giannis and his brother and some of the family, but it's always been in a basketball context.
Yes.
But you get this feeling from them that they're so humble. Like he's achieved and his brother's achieved this such amazing heights, but there's such a humbleness to them. When you bring that across within from your eyes in a movie, like how do you make sure that people really understand it? That's not an act. That's not fake. That's, you know, that's just how they really are.
For sure. Well, I mean, one of the things as a filmmaker that I'm always interested in is authenticity and humanity. You know what I mean? So I think taking the lead from Giannis, the fact that I was excited to tell the story, the fact that everyone who was involved was excited to tell the story. So we take the lead from that family, humble family. They opened up all their resources. You know, Veronica, she was available to not just myself, she was available to Yetide, who plays her. She was available to Dio, who plays Charles. Do you know what I mean? At some point, one of the songs that's in the film, Veronica and I are singing the song over the phone. You know, I'm in Greece, she's in Milwaukee. I'm like, hey, do you remember this song from Nigeria? You know what I mean? So you take all that goodness and then you bring it and make sure everybody on the crew, everybody in the cast understands what we're trying to do, coming together for something that's bigger than us. But the leadership, the humility and the humbleness to tell the story, it's really key. So it becomes part of the DNA, because you want to make sure, like I said earlier, you want to make sure that when they watch it, they go like, yeah, that we went through that, we felt that. And I think if you've spoken to them, what they've said those things, how this reminded them of this. And that's because one, they were also collaborators, but we were able to get the right collaborators to make sure that we translate that into the screen. You know, it was made with love, and we present it to you with love.
And you know, so when I watched the movie, I thought it was great. I think the best thing about it, if I may say, is that you go into it, you know, thinking like, hey, this is a NBA All-Star, NBA champion basketball player, and you walk out of the movie saying, hey, if we can all be a little bit like their family, we are, everybody in this country and all of the countries around the world will be better people. So thank you so much for bringing that vision to the screen. I really love the movie.
And I appreciate your feedback there, because that's what we were all wanting for people to walk away with. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful day. Thank you again for the time.
No doubt. Thank you. Peace.
Robert Littal, BSO Entertainment.
Good to go.
Can you hear me? Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
And we were just talking about your background.
Yeah, nice background.
I was actually watching the press conference and listening to you guys talk about how you got involved in the project and the passion and everything about it. It was really inspiring. How important was it to kind of show that authenticity of the parents, the culture, where they came from, how they lived, and then that transition of the United States and things like that. How important was it to kind of show how authentic that could be with the different cultures and everything?
It was, I mean, that was a large part of it. And that was a large part of what resonated about being able to do this project. Our fearless leader, Aki Amotosho, who's also Nigerian. Uh, it was very important to him as well to have all of those elements and have the attention to detail about those elements within the film. Well, one thing we've been talking a lot about is, how the specificity actually leads to the universality of it. The more specific we went, the deeper we went with those details, the more I think that the story actually speaks on a universal level to so many different individuals around the world, individuals that understand, what it is to dream, individuals that understand, the love of family. There's so much that resonates for the viewer because we went that deep and specific.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke with Giannis when he won the MVP trophy, before he even won the NBA Finals trophy, and he talked about his dad and what his dad meant to him, and how he had passed, but he felt like he had accomplished things that his dad would be proud of. How I wouldn't say a weight, but how important was it for you to really kind of nail that aspect of that father-son relationship with not just Giannis but both of the brothers?
Right. I mean, that's my job. That was what I was called for to do. And so it's everything. It is the mandate, it is the task. And, I won't sleep until I couldn't sleep until I could portray that and do it effectively. But the thing that gives you confidence to do a job like that is research. You got to do your homework. And when you step on set that first day of filming, you want to feel like you have lifted every rock and looked under every rug and, in every nook and cranny to try and distill truth from this character and create a man that feels real on screen. Charles he's an amazing character to play because he was not a man of many words. He was quite a calm individual, but he had this ability to live by example. I think that's the greatest thing that Veronica and Charles were able to do for their children, was to just be amazing examples for them of what it's like to be good people, to chase your dreams, but at no minute do you do that at the cost of family, and that was something that they just pounded into their children, and is 100% one of the reasons that they're as successful as they are.
Going into watching the movie, I felt like it was going to be one of those basketball success story type of movies that we've seen, a bit before. But as I finished watching the movie, I'm like, especially you guys' performances, I was like, man, if everybody parents was like that, we'll be such a better place.
Yep.
Did as you got into doing the project and, like you said, researching, did you start understanding that this was, a lot bigger than basketball, that they're so humble, like you said, so family oriented, that people that would watch this movie, they're going to come out of it feeling like, hey, I want to be a better person, after seeing it?
Yeah. You can speak. I'll talk to this after you. I have a little insight.
You have a little insight on it. No, it's I mean, I think I've said that from the moment I read the script. I felt that there was so much going on here on a grand scale. As a fan of basketball as well, it was wonderful to see, as you've said before, and Akin, I believe, has said as well, that the basketball was a vehicle. But we definitely, there were moments on set too, I think, where we felt that there was something really special happening. And so to answer your question, yes, we definitely felt there were other elements within there, but I want to get to your answer really quick.
Yeah, for me, about this family story specifically, is it's reminding people that there is virtue in sacrifice for family. I think we're in this era of life now where it's all about the me culture.
this I'm gonna do me, like, all this. And it's like the aspects of tradition, certain traditions specifically pertaining to family, that is dying by the wayside. You know what I mean? Like, sadly, a lot of families are not staying together anymore. You know what I'm saying? Or just the idea of parents that will sacrifice anything for their children, where your decision making is no longer just about yourself. It's about your legacy and your children. And like, the Rise is such a throwback to that ideal that I think is getting lost in Western society. Western society is a very singular society, and listen, the pandemic didn't help either, because people were isolated to themselves, did not interact with other people, and the idea of like sacrificing for your dreams. Where do you draw the line? And this is a family that decided family is where we draw the line. We're willing to do anything to get out of the circumstances that we're in, but we're not going to sacrifice family for that. And I think that's so important, because sadly, I think there's this growing ideology out there that you do sacrifice everything, including family, for the dreams that you want. But how good is success if you're the only one there to experience it? Look at this family right now. You got 3 sons that are champions, and they're all still together. So while it's so whenever I see them talk about their story, they just bounce it back and forth with each other. Like, can you believe this? Like, they still can't quite believe that it's happened. And I think what keeps them grounded is that they all came up together, that they all rose together, no pun intended. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
They say when one person
the
scores,
whole team scores. Yeah.
There it is.
So, yeah.
Great. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. That's a beautiful answer. Both of you guys look beautiful as well. You did such an amazing job in the film. I can't wait for everybody to see it. So thank you again, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Sure. Robert Littal, BSO Entertainment. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to talk to me.
Appreciate you,
man. First question I have for you. You guys being brothers yourself, how easy was it, or easier was it for you to kind of relate what Giannis and his brothers were going through, especially, kind of growing up in that time period?
So I think the fact that we're actual brothers helped so much, because like, we're first-time actors. So having your brother play your actual brother in the movie, it just makes everything a lot easier. You don't have to act that part. That part is just, it's real.
And on top of that, most of the scenes that we have, we're in the same scene together. So it definitely made things a lot easier.
Now, you guys ballers, can you get on the court and do your thing? I mean everybody can't be 7 foot like them, but at any time during the thing, did you kind of really show them what you can do on the court?
We're definitely not NBA level, I'll say that, but definitely better players now than we were when we got over there, for sure.
Yeah, we've both played the game since we were little. So this is nothing that's all that foreign to us. But yeah, they definitely did make sure that we were in shape. They put us through some good training. So yeah, I think Uche is right. We're definitely better now than we were before we left.
And how important was, you guys, like you said, are first-time actors, but how important was it to you to make sure that things seem as authentic, especially with the different cultures that you had to deal with? You talked about Greece, you're talking about Nigerian, and then, the part of the story, coming to the US. How important was it to kind of blend all of those in and make sure it was as authentic as it could be?
I definitely think it's extremely important, because Nigerian culture, African culture in general, isn't always portrayed in a way that I think is correct. I think most of the time our movies, when we're portrayed in movies, we're like the joke. I don't think that, like, there's nothing wrong with movies like Coming to America, but that's not African culture, you know what I mean? So I think it's extremely important to stay true to what it is, and with Greek culture as well. Like, I think everybody should be portrayed in a way that respects the culture.
I remember the director always said that this will be the most Nigerian Greek film you'll ever see.
When you guys kind of finished rapping, did you feel like that you portrayed that like you said, the right way, and then when people leave the theater, they're going to be like, something, we had one idea, of what the culture and everything was like. But now seeing it, seeing all the actors that are in the movie, the director, like you said, they really gonna have a different vibe, because that's half the battle sometimes, is that people think that they know the culture, but they just seeing it from maybe a TV show or a song or something like that. But to actually see people doing it, do you feel when they come out of, not the theater, when they come out of watching the movie, they will feel like, hey, I really understand a little bit better what it's really like?
I think so, for sure. Absolutely, definitely. I think we portrayed it in a way in which people will understand it better after watching the movie.
And I think people within those cultures will connect to it even more because of that.
All right, I really appreciate you guys. You did a wonderful job. Can't wait
Thank
for
you.
everybody to see it. It's a great movie. You have a wonderful day.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it,
You
man.
too.